All successful producers have realized one thing. Your network is your net worth, and we live in the easiest times to make connections. You can find countless videos on YouTube that promise to reveal the best networking strategies as a producer. And often those videos are about things like how to DM a big type beat producer, or how to find the supposedly smallest person who is part of a song to reach out to them and work with them to get big major placements. Even though all those strategies work, there is one that outshines them all. In this video, I want to talk about the best strategy, which is by far the most sustainable one, and if you don't use it, I guarantee you will struggle in the near future. And even though it's also not my Discord server, I still recommend to join the server and connect with dope producers. If you want to do so, check out the first link in the video description. So here's why these traditional networking methods usually don't work as good as the one that I want to talk about. The problem with all these methods, whether it is getting your loops to big type beat producers by sending out Instagram messages, or going on Genius and looking for the audio engineer or the smallest producer of a song to try to connect with them, is usually the frame of the interaction. Have you ever asked yourself why most producers and artists don't answer your messages? The explanation is pretty simple. First of all, most producers follow the exact same pattern like everybody else. They see a producer with some followers on social media, whether it's Instagram or YouTube, and reach out to them with the same generic message. Hey man, I like your beats, they are fire, let's work, I got some loops for you, what's your mail? I don't even have big social media accounts, but I do get these messages every single day. Usually when I see these messages, the first thing I'm doing is checking out the profile. What do I see usually? One beat snippet, no YouTube, no nothing, 90 followers. And maybe this person has good loops, but it's important to understand that nowadays so many producers have good loops that having good loops isn't enough. So to reach the same level of value and get the interest of another person to work with you, it takes a lot more. So to sum that up, the reason why these messages don't work usually is because the bigger you get as a producer, the more opportunities you have to work with somebody based on this, hey, I've got loops, I want to send it to you. The bigger producer who just accepts the loops and kind of gives an opportunity to somebody else to profit from your resources. At the end of the day, it's not about the work, it's about the business. Producer X wants a part of producer Y's business. And at some point, why should producer Y give producer X a part of his business if the only thing he brings to the table are loops that he sends to 250 other people? So what do you need to do differently to make it work? I will tell you what you can do. And what I will tell you is, in my opinion, the #1 networking method in 2025 to make genuine connections. One major problem I see with all these methods of reaching out to somebody on Instagram is that you are the one who approaches a different person. The frame that you automatically set with that interaction is that you want something from somebody else. In fact, I think that is a pretty good method as long as you bring something to the table too. If your pitch is good enough, you can always get what you want from the other person if you present it to him in the right way. I've told this story before. I've once paid somebody to collab on some loops. He already had major placements with NBA Youngboy, Lil Durk, and I was kind of nobody to him. At this point, I had absolutely nothing, no personal brand, no followers, not anything, but I was already pretty good at making loops. So in order to get his interest, I decided, okay, I need to pay him, because at the end of the day, money is just value, and if you want to spend it as an investment on yourself, that's dope. Is that the best way? Probably not, but it worked. And the follow-up, he reached out a couple times, wanted some starters, wanted some midis, and if I would have been able to capitalize on that a little bit more at that time, it would have worked out. It's a little bit like being the ugly guy in a bar. If you go over to the good-looking girl and want to talk to her and just say, yeah, you're beautiful, whatever, that's probably what she hears from all those guys. Like producers always hear, hey, I got loops for you, so you can just pay for some drinks to get her attention for maybe 1 minute. Because she wouldn't talk to you otherwise. But in a perfect world, as a producer, you are the hot girl. And who's the hot girl in the producer community? Those are the producers with a brand. That's why the #1 method in 2025, you should try your best to build up a personal brand so that you don't need to rely on reaching out to people, approaching them, setting the frame of you want something from them. Because if you are the hot girl, the people will automatically come to you. And I want to make that clear. You shouldn't stop reaching out to people. There There's nothing wrong with it. Still do it. If you want to reach out to people, my advice is to don't use the basic, hey, I've got loops for you, let's work, give me your mail, let's log in, whatever. Be more natural with it. If I can, I will try to pop up some messages right now to just show how I usually get in touch with people without making it super calculated. I do often react to Instagram stories of someone and start a conversation about that, or usually if you follow someone for long enough that you genuinely want to work with, at some point there will pop up an opportunity like, hey, send me some starters, I need starters for artist XYZ, I need R&B loops, whatever. And then that's your opportunity to reach out to that person, because there is really an interest on something you might offer. But the best way to network as a producer in 2025 is to grow a personal brand. And the cool thing is, you don't need industry placements to build a personal brand as a producer anymore. You can just grab your phone, record content, and show your personality online. Just take a look at somebody like Kyle Beats. He has one of the biggest producer brands, but he almost has no industry placements because he just showed his personality, documented the journey, and built a community around that. Or if you take a look at somebody like KVZ, who built a personal brand through YouTube videos and then successfully made the jump, heavily supported by his personal brand, into the music industry. Most producers don't talk about that, but a personal brand is the absolute cheat code for networking as a producer. And if you don't know how to start making content and how to show your personality online, you can check out this video where I will give you some basic content ideas and video concepts that you can use right away to start to build up your personal brand.